find their missing teammates. The youngest heroes in the Marvel Universe are ready to cross any boundary, even if it means heading to a land of sorcery and the sword. All this and more in the pages of Champions issue number 25. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop on in together and find out. Alrighty then, so narration duty in this issue is actually handled by Riri of all people. Hey, you know what? Good for her. This book has gone a long way in actually helping rehab her character. Ironheart is still suffering PTSD nightmares after having her original iron suit destroyed by Thanos, and I mean, really, wouldn't you be having nightmares too if you had to deal with that guy? The mood is unfortunately equally dire all around Champions HQ. Sam Alexander, Nova, as well as Nadia Pym the Wasp have all been kidnapped, taken by Man-Thing through a strange portal. The kids are really in over their head on this one. They know this is a magic problem, and unfortunately they can't get a hold of anyone magical to help them. Doctor Strange is in space, Brother Voodoo and Scarlet Witch are trying to find Quicksilver. Magic of the X-Men just isn't answering her phone, and no one remembers who Dr. Druid is. They're really at a loss here. This means that Snowguard, the only magical member of the team, has to get an audience with her spirit, aka the magical force that gives her the power to change into different animals. A power that, well, she didn't even know she had until a little while ago. In fact, she doesn't know a lot about her powers as the newest member of the Champions team. She's still figuring it out. Thankfully, Scylla, the Spirit of the North, has had dealings with Man-Thing in the past and as such decides to help the Champions out, but is also sure to remind Snowguard that this is magic in the Marvel Universe and it always comes at a terrible cost. For her troubles, Amka is given a magical amulet that should allow her and the rest of the Champions to traverse the space between spaces and find their friends. However, I'm sure no one was expecting that this journey would take them on a trip to Weirdworld, the strange fantasy Conan the Barbarian land that exists within Marvel lore. This trip also splits the team up and changes them in ways they couldn't have thought possible. Riri Williams becomes Ironheart the Paladin, who apparently has ticked off a bunch of very angry rat folk who want to get even with her, and if you couldn't tell, Jim Zub, the writer of this comic, who is also the writer of the Dungeons & Dragons comics and the Rick and Morty vs. Dungeons & Dragons comics, writes this book too, so we're basically in for one giant fantasy tabletop role-playing extravaganza, and I couldn't be happier. Riri is aided in her fight by Shadow Spider the Rogue. Yeah, that's right, Miles Morales, but when Riri says his name out loud, this is where things actually get interesting. Shadow Spider Miles has no recollection of Riri or indeed the Champions at all. It seems that their memories have been tampered with. Oh man, someone rolled a critical fail on this one. That's a D&D joke, everyone. Get ready, because they're going to be coming fast and furious in the next little bit. From there, we check on in with Brawn, here renamed Brawn Hammer, a half-orc barbarian, a class after my own heart. Amadeus is currently the prisoner of a group of kobolds, or lizard people, or Yung Tai. You know what, it could be any of these things. Again, if this all sounds like gibberish to you, don't worry, I just really like D&D. The bad guys are forcing Brawn and a bunch of other people to make weapons for their ever-growing war machine. The Forge, however, comes under attack by Snowguard, who is a druid, obviously, because she already has wild shape. But this is where things get crazy. Snowguard is also leading two different Man-Things into the fray against the lizard folk. Sadly, these two teammates also have no memory of each other, and a fight ends up breaking out. Snowguard is victorious, which just again goes to show how overpowered druids are in 5th edition. But luckily, Snowguard stays her hand from Brawn and brings her to, get this, the Ms.Marvel. Yeah, that's right, everyone, Kamala Khan, who's a freaking sorceress. She's also the leader of a resistance group fighting off whoever those bad guys were. Oh, and Nadia is there too, but she's not the Wasp anymore, she's a pixie. And oh, if you liked that homebrewed content, that's not even the best part. From there, we head on over to a gladiatorial arena where one of the frickin' Crystal Warriors from Crystar, yeah, that old 80s toy line and cartoon that Marvel used to have a hand in, fight a very familiar looking young knight who, even though he's not that great at swords, proves that he's really great at magic because, well, he's an eldritch knight, of course. Which again is a D&D subclass if you didn't know or if you're not nerdy enough. Oh yeah, and it's Sam is really important. It's Sam Alexander, but wait, he's actually working for the bad guy, Master of the World, who is the evil king of this story. And it's right around there that the comic ends, everyone. So that was Champions issue number 25, and if you couldn't tell, I freaking loved this issue. You can tell this is the sort of passion project that only comes around once in a lifetime, and Jim Zub is perfectly suited for this material. If you're a D&D fan like me, you're going to have an absolute blast picking through all the references and Easter eggs, and even if you're not, you're going to have a good time too, because this is a nice organic way to continue the saga of the champions. Also, it's about time someone uses Weirdworld again. It's such a good concept to just collect dust as it has been the last couple years. Overall, I give this one a 9 out of 10. I had a frickin' blast with this, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out some of these other videos I have available from the channel. Then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cape Joel, so you're always up to speed on what I'm doing next. And hey, did you know, outside just making great weekly comic videos, I'm also on several comic book podcasts, some of which are very popular. There's the Weekly Pull, which the shirt I'm wearing right now. That one goes every other Tuesday. Then there's the Elseworlds Exchange over on the Comic Pop channel. That's every Wednesday around 3 to 5, give or take. And then how could I possibly forget the Comic Multiverse, the show hosted by myself and Matt of Fortress of Solitude. That one goes live on this channel every Wednesday at 8, and also SoundCloud and iTunes later on. Be sure to check out and subscribe to those if you haven't already. I assure you, you won't be mistaken.